happening, everybody? This is the Pensive Brothers podcast. This is Aaron.
And this is Elliot.
We hope everybody out there is having a fantastical day.
Fantastical.
Man, right now there's a lot going on in the world. We got a presidential election going on.
Yeah.
We've got multiple wars, one in Ukraine. We got a new war going on in Israel.
Yeah.
We've
Palestine,
got...
or Hamas, really.
Yeah. We got two presidential candidates who are arguably having severe mental decline. We have a United States senator that passed away.
Yeah.
Senator Dianne Feinstein from California.
Rest in peace.
The Speaker of the House has been ousted.
Yeah. Arguably for good reasons.
Yeah.
If the reports to be
there is
believed.
a shadow campaign of people in the Republican donor base that are trying to get the governor of Virginia to run for president.
Yes, I've heard about that.
Yeah. So
trying to get, and why? He's not that popular.
Well, to be honest, it's because Republicans recognize that they lose a lot of elections.
Yeah.
They lose all presidential election popular votes, and they're looking for Republicans who have name recognition that have a track record of winning.
Here's the weird thing. Of the Republicans that exist, he wouldn't be the worst one, but he wouldn't be a good one. He's not the worst. He's
Would
better.
any of them be a good one? By our
really.
standards? Because most of the Democrats wouldn't be a good one.
Here's the problem, right? So, be a good one holistically? Probably not. They probably do things on balance that I would be like, no, that's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But, they might... There are some people that I can genuinely say, as much as I dislike the majority of his politics, there are some specific things that I think Matt Gaetz would do as president that would be better for all other Democratic or, more liberal-leaning presidents to come behind him than, your standard boilerplate Republican. So, there are some things that I would like to see, some of these more... radical, maybe. I don't feel like that's the right word.
Faux populist.
Yeah, some of these
populist,
faux populist
right.
people, there are some specific things that they would put in place. Now, this is not, hey, let's go vote for these people. This is more like if they win, there is some silver lining somewhere.
And those two things that those guys would do would be okay, and then the other billion things would be horrible.
The other,
for example, Matt Gaetz would probably do something about money in politics.
He would.
He would do something about term limits in Congress.
He would.
And then
he'd probably find a way to get rid of Medicare.
He might even go in as far as doing something about student loans. Maybe. But outside of that, yeah, he's going to start a war. He's going to do tax cuts for the rich. He's going to throw people off of their home and food assistance programs.
He's trying to abolish.
He would get rid of people's health care. He would cut Social Security and Medicaid.
100%. He'd do all that.
Yeah,
and it'd be terrible. So let's not be on the let's vote for Republicans train because they ain't earned that.
Yeah, but arguably a lot of Democrats in there
have not earned it.
But for me, as I told you before, climate change alone, the Republican Party's already out.
And you're not wrong about that because it's not even just they're the science is not conclusive about what we need to do. Some of them, that's what they say, but that's not what they mean.
Really, they mean the opposite of climate change legislation. They say we need more coal.
Correct.
We need more pollution immediately.
No, because and the problem is, I really sympathize with people who are listen, okay, I believe climate change is real and it's being exacerbated by human involvement, human behavior, but it's not world ending. I disagree with those people, by the way, but I understand where they're coming to that position. They don't see it as an
existential.
Correct.
As some of the scientists are warning us.
Some scientists are warning us that it's existential and it will eliminate human life. Their point is...
And it's happening faster than their original models told them.
Even told us that it was going to happen. Right. Their point is, humans are adaptable. Yes, it's going to be bad. It's going to cause a lot of property and destruction. It's going to cause us to have to adjust.
Yeah, we're going to adjust to everything. We're going to adjust to...
My point is,
a lot less of us living.
If we know it's happening and we can do something about it, why wouldn't we just do something about it?
Have you considered the profits of the corporations?
You know what? You're right.
Exactly.
I forgot all about those ExxonMobil dividends. I'm not getting.
And all of the coal companies that are gonna lose all this money.
Oh, somebody weep for the poor.
The amount of people who are no longer gonna have black lung.
Oh,
so that those health insurance companies aren't gonna make money off of them dying.
Theoretically,
Have you considered any of these dire ramifications to the U.S. economy? Un-American.
Of course not.
No,
Listen,
but anyway,
I'm a dyed-in-the-wool socialist.
So today we are. Don't be saying that.
No, I can't. I can't say I'm a socialist.
Well, if you're a socialist,
Bernie Sanders did it.
Democratic socialist, but yeah,
True, fair.
But So today we're going to we're going to focus on a couple of things here.
Yeah.
So right now, as we all know, there's a presidential election going on.
That's right.
Right now, as it stands today, Donald Trump is in the lead for the Republican primary. Joe Biden is in the lead for the Democratic primary. Well, there is no Democratic primary.
Yeah.
Joe Biden is basically
there's no primary.
The party is not allowing a primary. Even though there's people
Sanders
running.
said there will be no primary debates.
There's not a primary. They said there will be no primary, even though there's a primary going on.
Right.
But anyway,
they're like nobody's running. Nobody's running. No.
Which takes the wind out of the sails when they call the Republicans fascists when you're being anti-democratic. But anyway.
Yeah, but that's divergence.
That's not even a conversation.
That's
not
the point. Because what we're here to talk about is the fact that we have some new candidates who started off. Cornell didn't start off in either party. He actually started off in like the People's Party, and then he went to the Green Party, and now he's running as an independent. Yep, we'll talk about it. And then RFK, who started off in the Democratic Party, is now also running as an independent. So I think both of those things are pretty. They're pretty important because both of these people are fairly popular in their spheres of influence, and I think there is a lot of interesting things going on with that. So I think we should start with probably Cornel West because there's a little bit more meat there. Pause. Anyway, so
you say that because Cornel's black?
Shut up! You're so. What's wrong with you, bro?
All right. Anyway, so let me give some context and then I'll let you go.
Yeah.
So Cornel West is a philosopher, a scholar, educator,
activist.
He's he's got his doctorate. He's a very, very, very smart, historic leader in the black community.
Yep.
He was the co-chairman of the Bernie Sanders campaign in 2020. He was a big part of his 2016 campaign, if I remember correctly.
He was.
He's been advocating for a lot of the left-leaning candidates all over the country. So he started out, was it the People's Party? He was running in the People's, basically for the People's Party's nomination.
Yep.
The People Party has a lot of issues. Including
their founder, which I think was kind of what came to a head.
Right. And so he decided, after a lot of backlash, I'm going to not do that. He went over to the Green Party.
Yep.
And those who might not know what the Green Party is, the Green Party is a small third party in America that basically they don't have any national politicians that were elected, but they do have lower level local wins, mayors, and things like that all over the country.
Yeah.
Like in little pockets like New York and certain places.
Yes, and they have run candidates in like big national elections.
Yes.
Obviously Jill Stein back in 2016, but they run
president.
Yep, they run like Ralph Nader and a couple others. So like they have big candidates, but they usually do not win the big national elections. They really win more of the like local and state level elections.
Right, where it's a lot easier for a third party to break in. Because as we all know, we live in basically a political duopoly where you have the Democratic and the Republican parties that dominate everything.
Right.
So if you're in the Green Party, you are not on the debate stage.
Yep.
You are not basically given matching funds because you're not making enough.
They don't talk to you. They don't talk about you on the news.
You don't get coverage.
Yeah.
There is no. They'll have a convention, but it's not really covered.
It's not covered. The major news networks don't cover it.
Right. So Cornel West decided to leave the Green Party this week. And now he's just running flat out as an independent.
Yeah. And, to add some additional context to that, there were some things that were happening kind of in the background. So Sabby Sabs, big shout out to her, actually did an interview with both Jill Stein of the Green Party. She was a previous presidential candidate for them, and she kind of has been, I don't know her exact role. I believe she's like the head, like the director of the party or something along those lines. But she's a big prominent face. Her and Ajuma, I believe it's Ajuma Baraka. I might be butchering his name. I'm sorry, brother, if I am. But they were really big. They were, kind of the people who brought Cornel West in. She also was involved in getting Cornel West a campaign manager because one of the big things that he had issues with early on was he really did not have campaign infrastructure. He didn't have a campaign manager. He really didn't have any of the email and communications and fundraising apparatus that you really need to actually run like a national level campaign.
A viable national campaign.
Correct.
Because anybody can just jump up and say you're going to do it.
Hey, anybody can say I'm running. But you need signatures. There's process. There's paperwork that has to be filed by a certain amount of time. You have to be familiar with the process in all the states. Like there's a lot to it. And if you're not really in that world, if you're not a subject matter expert, it's really hard to get your arms around all of that, which I don't think anybody faults Cornell for necessarily. No, because genuinely, I think
not that he should know himself.
Correct,
everything,
but
if you're going to run for president, there is some prep work that he should have done.
That is
especially going from the People's Party to the Green Party. Like that wasn't a good look. I think starting out like not researching Because it was like once all that stuff came out about the founder, he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go over here."
Well,
the people. I'm not saying this, but I'm saying the detractors, the people that were criticizing, would say he should have done that research on the front end.
I think I struggle with this, okay, and I'll tell you why I struggle with this. It's not like Cornel West was doing nothing and then like he was a retiree, he didn't have anything else going on, and then he decided to run for president. He just had all this free time to kind of research and look things up. It's kind of like he saw the way that the Democratic primaries were going, and then he's like, listen, I can't watch this happen again. They did it to Bernie twice. They're about to do it to the two people. Marianne Williamson is actually a decent candidate, and they're literally not even letting her participate. I can't watch that happen again. It's like she's not even running, bro. It's depressing. So
it is.
I think he saw that like occurring and decided he was going to run for president, and then started looking for, okay, how can I do this? And the first opportunity that presented itself, he hopped on it, and then he kind of, in working through all of he was like, nah, I'm gonna make this work. We gonna go full speed. And as he was going full speed, he realized the problems with the way he was going. He recognized, all right, this is not gonna work. He made a change. Now I was a little concerned, let's say, when I heard that he was also leaving the Green Party to run independent. But
I was too.
I have to give him credit, because I was like, well, let me hear the man out, because there has to be a reason. There has to be like a real explanation for why he would make this decision, because it's a bad look. The way he describes it, and even the way kind of things have played out, I understand. Basically, it kind of goes like, I am trying to run for president of the United States. The only way I can win as an outside of the Democratic and the Republican parties person is I gotta get out there and campaign in all the places with all the people that nobody listens to. Those are the people whose votes I need. I can't go to traditional lefty places. I can't go and do all of this touring at Green Party exclusive events. I can't go and just talk to your Green Party event planner and this state Green Party person and this state Green Party person, because I got to get out here and try and get votes before November next year. And I can't do that trying to cater to y'all. Y'all don't actually care about things that the majority of people care about. Not that the things you care about aren't important or don't matter, but y'all have different priorities than the general people that I need to be speaking to, because they're the ones whose votes I need. And if I'm bogged down trying to run a Green Party campaign, I'm going to miss out on my opportunity to actually get the votes I need to make a difference when it comes to getting the election in November next year. And when you articulate it that way, and when you kind of hear the frustration that he describes, and listen, I can't go to all these Green Party activities. Like, I'm out here trying to talk to real people. I'm trying to go to be at rallies with people who are picketing. I'm trying to go out here and protest with anti-violence protesters. Like, those are the people I need to be talking to. And if I'm stuck playing party politics the same way y'all have been playing party politics this whole time, I'm never gonna win a national election. And when he said it, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Because even when Jill Stein came in and she explained, oh, well, Cornel really didn't talk to me about this decision, and, we have a lot of entrenched parties, and if you're going to win the Green Party, elect nomination, the Green Party really has to be a part of that process. Like, you have to go through the Green Party process. And I'm like, oh, she doesn't get it. She doesn't understand. Because Cornel West hopped in the race. Listening to him describe it, he hopped in the race because he sees this as existential. He sees this as, this is the last opportunity to keep World War III from happening. This is the last opportunity to try and keep the United States from blowing everything up and making the whole world go crazy. Like, this is our last chance. I don't have time to mess around with y'all who haven't been able to win a real national election this whole time. If y'all are going to keep doing the same thing you've been doing. Now, I got to do it a different way, and I got to do it the way I see it being, the only way I see it being successful. And looking at how Peter Dow is kind of running things in the background, how he's spinning up a lot of the campaign infrastructure, so far, it looks like that might have been the right call, even if it kind of don't seem like it at first blush.
Yeah, and I don't think that there is a pretty way for him to win or lose anyway.
Yeah.
The only, my only thing is, like I said, I wish he would have made these types of decisions up front. I wish he would have been looking at the landscape up front and made those types of decisions, because it appears as though he can't figure out, to the average person that will hear, he was in the People's Party and then he was in the Green Party, and now he's an independent over the span of what, a month? 2 months?
I think it's like 2 or 3 months, but yeah.
I don't even think it's been 3 months. To the average voter,
that seems
they will see that instability.
It seems like chaos.
Do I think that no one will vote for him? Of course not. I'm not saying anything like that. But like I've heard, I don't know if you've ever seen the Leftist Mafia on. Okay, so like they had a debate about this a couple months ago when he first
moved to the Green Party.
No, it was right before that.
Oh, okay.
It was when you remember when all the explosion about the People's Party was happening.
Yeah.
So they were having a debate about him, and basically half of them were saying, why doesn't he just do the Bernie model and just try the Democratic Party? Because at least you'll be on the debate stage. At least you'll be able to make some noise, blah, blah, blah. And then half of them were saying,
no debate stage.
Well, yeah, yes. Half of them were saying, one, there is no debate stage. Two, the Bernie model didn't work. Bernie lost.
Twice.
Right. And so like that was kind of the discussion that they were having.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, like I said from the beginning, I don't think there's a pretty way to do this. The Bernie model would have been difficult because, one, at least the 2 times Bernie ran, there was a Democratic primary.
Correct.
Even the first time when they tried to basically anoint Hillary Clinton, she still had to debate.
And they were actually interested in at least pretending to be Democratic.
Yeah, because the Democratic Party was literally funneling all the money to Hillary Clinton's campaign,
now,
which is nuts during the primary. But anyway, this is about Hillary.
Well, you're right.
So the point that I'm making is that would be the only criticism that I think is valid. That I wish that he had spent the summer discussing this with people like Jill Stein, discussing this with the people of the People's Party, making a decision, and then running the campaign based on research. Now, I take your point. Yes, it's not like Cornel West is some billionaire retiree that's just sitting around and had all that time. Like, yes, he works. He was on the campaign trail. He's been campaigning for not just Bernie, but like when Nina Turner was running and all these other candidates. Like, I got it. And
he's been doing like in-person events the entire time. So,
but he is going to suffer because he didn't do this prep work. Is what I'm saying.
I agree.
His campaign would have been stronger if he was able to have a single message. Is all I'm saying.
I 100% agree with you. Not only that, I also think there are other entities. Like he's really, he talks to Tim Black, he talks to Savvy, he talks to some other like left-leaning political, black political people in this space. I think he really needs to make an effort to reach out to some more like standard black voices. I really want to see him get up with Roland Martin. I really want to see him.
I wish Roland Martin did. Like, Roland Martin does a good job of bringing in a lot of black voices.
He does.
But there's a lot of voices on the left. Not even just, like, far left, but, like, centrist Democrat over that he doesn't collaborate with as much as I would like to see.
Because he reminds me a lot of Dad. Like, his view on the world, and I think his background makes him a lot more realpolitik. Like, we got to be ruthless and cutthroat out here in a way that I don't think gels with a lot of like black leftist ideology. Like,
and I've seen, like, Dr. Rashad Ritchie.
Yeah, I do.
I like him, but
I'm a fan of him most of the time.
Similar to Roland, he has like a mean streak.
Yes.
Where sometimes I feel like they're never going to talk to you.
Yes.
Like, literally. So that's the thing. But in the service of time, let's move to RFK because we still got to get to the other thing.
Because you do still got to get to him. So, just to button up the Cornel West thing, he's running as an independent now. He's got a campaign manager. They have a really good platform. They're actually covering a lot of things. They're covering a lot of things that I haven't seen a lot of other people cover in ways that are novel and interesting. So if you're interested in, just looking at your options out there, please go check out his party platform. I believe it's CornelWest2024.com or something along those lines. If you Google Cornel West,
Cornel West,
you'll find it. So RFK moving over. So he's been teasing for a little while now that he's got a big announcement on the 9th, yada yada yada. Because he's been very vocal about the problems that he's been having running in the Democratic primary. Now,
the fact that they're not having one.
I want to back up a second, okay? Because something that I don't like. So I am less anti RFK than you are. I have more space because I think there are some specific things that I'm genuinely concerned about, especially when it comes to our regulatory structure around food and drugs. That I don't think you just have gotten into it as much, and I think we need to be a lot more. I think it's bigger than Medicare for all. I think if we actually tackled how poorly our food and our drugs are being regulated, I think that would do more for healthcare in the United States than actually getting Medicare for all. But he got a lot of other problems. For it? Yes,
or absolutely. You think it would just be a big impact?
No, I think
giving people healthcare, nothing would.
Here's the problem with trying to give people healthcare if you don't fix the problems we have with drugs and food.
No, I'm not saying that fixing the problem with drugs and food isn't like
what I'm saying
giant
is
part of the problem.
Way more people would need way less healthcare in general. If
arguably, that's true.
If we fix the problem with drugs and food, so like, will people still need healthcare, especially